The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Hey! A triple feature, 3 films up on the screen. One's a little heavy, one's a little sleek, and one's just caught between.
We'll laugh and cry and overanalyze, dig through themes with wide, wild eyes.
Grab some popcorn, take your seat.
3 times the fun, 3 times the treat.
Hey! A triple feature!
That's what we're here to do.
What we're here to do.
Buckle up, the lights go down, and we'll watch
Them all with you!
About 20 years ago, we took a family vacation to Las Vegas. And I'd been walking around with my parents, my uncle, and my cousin for a while. And I finally wanted to kind of go off and do my own thing. And my father said, be back by a certain time. Go do what you got to do. Come find us at this time. And I don't know if you've ever been in a strip club, but much like a casino, there are no clocks. One could lose track of time. And I, being a young lad who was attracted to women, was seduced, if you will, into having not one, 2 women perform a lap dance with money I didn't have.
Oh, you
So-
poor baby.
Oh,
So
honey.
So it took me a minute to get my money organized, but I finally made this happen, and I finally have the money, and we go to do the deed, and in waddles my mother.
Oh no, oh baby.
And you
Oh,
know,
babe.
so this middle-aged Jewish woman comes toddling over and says, "Your father is pissed at you. You didn't make the time back you were supposed to. You need to go." And I went, "Hazaviza." And she went, "I don't give a crap. Your father is mad. That's what's important here." I'm like, "But Mom, I've already spent the money." And she was like, "Not my
Habba dabba
problem.
booba booba.
Not my problem. Get the fuck out."
Did she?
But
And-
ma'am.
When I have told that story in the past, I tell it as she grabbed me by my ear and dragged me out of the strip club. But might as well have. And it's a great visual, but that's not really what happened. Anyway, my father was indeed pissed, and it would not be the first time nor the last he was disappointed in me. Welcome to Triple Feature, everybody. I'm your host, Mark Radulich. With us tonight is He's Sean, You're Not.
Everyone got AIDS and shit.
And joining us
If
wearing
you only
her...
remember one line, remember that one. Everyone got AIDS and shit.
And down there, I have to ask you about that dress, Kat. Is it a Versace?
It's pronounced Versace.
Oh, I'm a dumbass. Kat's with us again. How do you do, Kat?
Good. It's actually not a dress. I decided to go on theme here. So I'm wearing a leather corset, and yeah, check this shit out. Look at this.
Nice. Honestly, you could have come on in a hockey jersey, and I would have gone, "Is that a Versace?" Because it's my
I know.
favorite fucking line from our lead picture tonight, Showgirls. We are also talking Striptease and Hustlers. And I don't know if between my monologue at the beginning or the posters of the movies that I chose, if it's clear what the theme here is tonight.
Titties.
Titties. You're indeed correct. So let's get into this. I'm glad you guys are here. I've been wanting to do this one for a while now. I'm glad we're finally getting it done. Let's talk about it. Okay. There's a particular corner of American cinema, Sean, cinema, that tells you more about the country than any political documentary ever could. A corner lit in neon, soaked in sweat, powered by desperation, ambition, exploitation, and cash. Always cash. This triple feature lives in that corner. Showgirls, Striptease, and Hustlers aren't just movies about exotic dancers. They are 3 decades of shifting American fantasies and anxieties refracted through bodies, money, and performance. They chart the evolution of how Hollywood talks about women's labor, women's sexuality, and the marketplace that consumes both. We saw it in 1995, before the world ended, when Paul Verhoeven unleashed Showgirls with the force and subtlety of a tactical nuke. Critics treated it like cultural biohazard, but time has rewritten the verdict. What looked like a gaudy disaster now reads as a razor-sharp satire of the American dream, if the American dream were a meat grinder with a lighting budget. The film is pure Verhoeven, violent, decadent, hysterically sincere, and fully aware that Las Vegas is both church and graveyard for capitalist illusion. Elizabeth Berkley's Nomi Malone doesn't climb a ladder so much as drag herself up a chainsaw, one humiliating rung at a time. And in the process, Verhoeven holds a mirror to a country that sells sex while punishing anyone who admits they're buying. Just 1 year later, in a hold my beer moment, Striptease arrives with the opposite energy. Where Showgirls is nuclear, Striptease is bureaucratic. It's adapted from a Carl Hiaasen novel, which tell you everything. Florida, corruption, politics, and stupidity is a state of nature. Demi Moore plays Erin Grant not as a dreamer but as a survivor, weaponizing the strip club not as an escape but as her second job in a world rigged against single mothers. The film isn't trying to reinvent cinema. Cinema! It's trying to get through a workday. The satire is broader, the stakes are lower, and the film's central tension sits in the gap between how Hollywood wanted to sell Moore's body and how the character uses that body pragmatically, almost resentfully. Striptease is the 1990s attempting empowerment, with one hand tied behind its back and the other counting box office returns. And get in your time machine, folks, because we're going to go fast forward into 2019, and the world has changed. The money is different. The politics are different. And the power dynamics are no longer theoretical. They're on the evening news. In Hustlers, Lorene Scafaria builds a crime film out of the bones of an economic collapse. The Great Recession didn't just collapse banks, it collapsed the illusion that the market rewards good behavior. Suddenly, a strip club isn't a symbol of moral decay. It's a workplace where the women are the only ones following the rules. Jennifer Lopez's Ramona is the gravitational center of the film. Mother, mentor, thief, entrepreneur, folk hero, rolled into one. The movie argues with disarming clarity that if Wall Street can rob the country blind, then women dancing for those bankers are simply leveling the playing field. And the result is a film that understands sex work as labor, labor as power, and power as negotiation. Taken together, these films have the cultural shift from the 90s panic over female sexuality to 2010's recognition of female agency. But more importantly, they track the evolution of American hypocrisy. Showgirls exposes the predatory nature machinery of aspiration. Striptease shows how the system grinds down ordinary women until the strip club is the only space left where effort is rewarded. Hustlers flips the camera around and asks, what would happen if the women stopped playing defense? Stylistically, they couldn't be more different. Verhoeven shoots Showgirls like a fever hallucination, bathing Vegas in a radioactive glow and turning every conversation into a knife fight. Oh, I have a lot to say about that. Striptease looks like a 90s studio comedy that wandered into a strip club by accident. I was getting Roadhouse vibes. Hustler is sleek, seductive, structurally contemporary, part Scorsese, part true crime confessional, part working class feminist manifesto. And yet, through all of these differences, they share a spine. Women navigating systems designed by men, rewritten by money, and shaped by whatever America was afraid of in the decade each film was made. The production histories reinforce the cultural whiplash. Showgirls cost $45 million, bombed theatrically, and became a cult juggernaut through VHS and midnight screenings, proving the ironic longevity of films America pretends to hate. Striptease cost $40 million, cleared $113 million worldwide, and lived a short, confused life as both punchline and curiosity. Hustlers, made for $20 million, pulled in $157 million and earned awards buzz. cementing its place not just as a hit, but as a cultural event, a film that understood the zeitgeist rather than being eaten alive by it. Every cast tells its own story. Berkeley's career was nearly incinerated by Showgirls, oh was it ever, only to rise later as the film was reclaimed. Moore, at the height of her star power, was both centerpiece and controversy magnet, reflecting how the 90s turned every woman's decision into a referendum on feminism. Lopez delivered the best performance of her career in Hustlers, low bar, turning a role that could have been caricature into something ferocious and magnetic. And around each of them are worlds of supporting characters, dancers, club owners, corrupt politicians, Wall Street parasites, who define the cultural moment as the stars themselves. That, my friends, besides boobies, is the connective tissue of this triple feature. These films are artifacts of their time, but yes, they are also road markers on America's ongoing argument with sex, money, and power. Strip clubs in American cinema are never just strip clubs. Boy, are they. Boy, is that true. The laboratory is where the country gets to explain itself. Who gets punished, who gets paid, who gets to climb, and who gets thrown off the stage or carried out by their mother. Tonight, we put these films in conversation, gaudy satire, Florida-noir comedy, and modern crime epic to trace how 30 years of filmmaking reframe the same stage. The women performing for a world that can't decide what it wants from her, only that it wants more. Kat, let me go over to you first. You opted to be here. I think we talked about the last show, but give me the full Monty. Why are you here?
Well, I felt that it was my obligation to be here as a woman, as somebody who has been both the victim and the benefactor of, the benefactee of predatory men. Also, I'm a connoisseur of trash. I love naked women. Like, it's just kind of my thing. And I've got a whole ass dissertation on Showgirls, so strap in, y'all.
Strap in or strap on.
Guys.
Wonderful. My last question before I move over to Sean, and then we can get started. Are any of these a first watch, or had you seen them all somewhat contemporaneously?
The first watch for me was Hustlers. I had seen, I saw Showgirls when I was 10.
Awesome. How
I
are we
know,
not best friends?
right? I saw Striptease when I was 11.
Sure.
So as these were coming out, and I just saw Hustlers this afternoon.
Yeah.
It is my last day off until Thanksgiving, so I figured, I'd get some work done.
Fantastic.
Hmm.
I saw Showgirls when it came out a lot, and I think I owned it for a while because, I had to examine every bit of it, all the commentary, all the backstage, just every last. Boy, back when DVDs gave you the extra, I was all over the Showgirls extras. I have not seen Striptease until this past week, because why would you want Striptease when you can have Showgirls? And this is also a first watch for Hustlers, which only made the list because I needed a third stripper movie. Sean.
Mm-hmm. So we've established both that you're several years older than I am, Mark, and also that I come from a pretty strict conservative upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and having, I think I was, I want to say I was 12, 13, something like that when Showgirls came out. Which, earliest point in the timeline gives you some idea. So I obviously wasn't seeing it in theaters. That damn sure wasn't happening. I remember at the time, as we've long established, we a horny trio we are, and I was certainly no exception. So I was fascinated by it and was kind of longing, man, if only I could get to bask in that glorious booba. And then many years later, I got to watch it for free in secret on some, premium cable weekend. And despite paying absolutely nothing, I still felt profoundly fucking ripped off. Because someone had managed to make the mystery and glory of titties about as arousing as a jar of Miracle Whip, which me being an adolescent boy at the time, well, okay, I'm not gonna say there wasn't potential,
You gotta lay down, y'all.
but it wasn't even clearing that. It wasn't really even clearing that low bar. And of course, pretty much same deal with Striptease. Although I remember seeing that in similar fashion, and being amused that it at least had a little bit more going on. Demi Moore was not as terrifyingly erratic and aggressive as Jesse fucking Spano. But that was the last time I think for many years that I watched it. Now, you know what? I stand corrected, because at one point when I think when Alexis and I were together, actually, one of our date nights was a live riff of Showgirls. Which was a fucking blast. And that was clear back in, oh God, let's see, that would have been before I moved to Phoenix, which was 2012. So that would have been probably around 2009, 2010 or so. And this was the first time I had seen either of those in about that long. Hustlers, I was familiar with by name. I really didn't know shit about what it was about.
Yeah.
But for, glaringly obvious reasons, it's my favorite. It's my favorite of the three. I can see why it was so acclaimed at the time, and I'm kind of sorry it took me this long to get around to it.
It is by far the best made, but the least fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into Showgirls. As I said, it was directed by Paul Verhoeven. It stars Elizabeth Berkley, coming off of Saved by the Bell fame. Also starring Kyle MacLachlan, your favorite actor in weirdo movies, Gina Gershon and her boobs, Glenn Plummer, Robert Davey, Alan Rachins, and Gina Rivera. Produced on a then sizable budget of around $45 million. Significant controversy and hype surrounding the amount of sex and nudity in the film. Sex preceded its theatrical release. In the United States, it was rated NC-17 for nudity and erotic sexuality. Throughout some graphic violence, and sexual violence is about the only appropriate term to use in this movie. Showgirls was the first and to date only NC-17 film to be given a wide release in mainstream theaters. And look, I get it. I'm a dirty pervert and I lean into those jokes, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Kat. A lot of why I wanted to see Showgirls was because it was NC-17 and not because it's an X-rated movie. I mean, you can watch.
Well, duh.
Hear my thought on this, and then we can talk about it. A wide release NC-17 movie was not heard of at the time.
No.
Midnight showings of Flesh Gordon were, and I'm sorry, Lori, that we dragged you to that, but yeah, whatever. But that's the kind of thing that you would see at a midnight showing. The fact that it got mainstream coverage and a wide release, I was like, this is worth my time. Whether or not Showgirls is good or bad, to me, is meaningless. It's a part of film history that I think is kind of important. That this movie got this much acclaim, such as it is, was worth my time and investment. Now, we'll get into the craft and who doggy, but I think Showgirls is a worthy topic of conversation because it stands out from a lot of films in modern history as something wildly different than the norm. So, that being said, the words coked up get thrown around a lot these days. I don't know what they gave Elizabeth Berkley on the set of Showgirls. I've seen her act in other places. She's not this bad. But between the mad scientist direction of Paul Verhoeven and nobody being able to tame Elizabeth Berkley and her inability to act in this movie, like, she's doing what she thinks she's supposed to, poor girl. But it was
this is what I've always wondered, though. Was this her choice, or was this Verhoeven directing her to act this way?
She's gonna answer, but I let me finish this sentence with the last breath I have. Elizabeth Berkley performs Nomi like a coked up orangutan. Just fucking. There's a human talking to her, and she reacts like she's trying to tear his fucking face off. And it was like an innocuous thing.
For the record, that is purely coincidentally, one of the best descriptions of anything I have ever heard, short of, well, Mark, you being an MMA connoisseur, we'll get this reference. Joe Rogan once describing Keith Jardine's fighting style as what would happen if you taught a chimp karate.
Kat, your thoughts?
Ironically, the only animal that probably doesn't need karate to rip your face off.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Okay. So I saw this movie when I was 10, right? I remember when this came out, like, the previews were all over the place. And I didn't have cable at the time, so I was watching network television. So, yeah. And of course, you see NC-17, you're like, I got to see that. Well, of course, no one is going to take me. It's not like they could, because I was 9 and it's literally NC-17. But I got to see it about a year after it came out on Showtime when I had cable, right? And Showtime showed the R-rated cut. I've seen both. I can't tell the difference between the two. Like, I'd have to watch it split screen. But it's basically the same movie. I don't know. Maybe there's spread pink on NC-17 and R does not have that. Does not matter. So when I saw this movie, I thought it kind of ruled. But my pervasive thoughts were, God, Jesse, chill out. Quit throwing the fries that you didn't even pay for.
God, the fucking fries.
It would be like, Sean, when did you see Showgirls? And another thing, I fucking throws. That's her reaction in like every scene.
She approaches everyone at first like a coked up orangutan. And
I'll go you one better. It's as if you were trying to get the Ultimate Warrior in character to do Shakespeare.
So to answer your question, Sean, both Verhoeven and Elizabeth Berkley have gone on record and said that her acting was Verhoeven's fault, not hers.
Yeah. Like I said, I've seen her in other stuff. She's not this bad.
No, she's actually great in First Wives Club. She's great in Any Given Sunday. She was my favorite on Saved by the Bell back in the day because she was the smart one and she was the funny one.
Yeah.
But
here's kind of where I start to feel really sorry for her, though. And thank you, by the way, for clearing that up. I've wondered that for a disturbingly long amount of time. It should be concerning how much thought I have devoted to that. But my whole thing about it is, if you were to show someone Saved by the Bell, where she is playing a very 90s feminist caricature,
she's playing the Gabrielle,
and then you were
90210.
Yeah,
and then you were to show her, and then you were to show them Showgirls. That would be your baseline for what her, given acting talent is, because you've never seen her play a nuanced part or actually try to act without the most absurd direction possible. So, and I completely forgot she was in Any Given Sunday. So thank you for reminding me that she was in other things where she actually got to, act.
Yeah, she plays Al Pacino's pseudo girlfriend. I think she's a prostitute, but I'm not actually
Oh
certain.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she's
uh,
as subtle as a kitty cat in that one. They're like
yeah,
complete opposite.
she's great, and she's super funny in First Wives Club.
Mhm.
So like she can act. She's got the range for it, but I mean, like this is what she was told to do, and honestly, I gotta give her props for going for it because she could.
That kind of changes my framing a little bit.
Yeah, like I got like she was 22 when she made this, 23, and she just went for it. And honestly, like props, like
It's.
now.
I'll tell you what it is. It's very much a. So we can kind of frame this discussion appropriately. I think this is what happens when you trust the director
Mm-hmm.
and you don't use any insight of your own. You know, there are people who can recite lines and kind of perform performatively, and then there are people who are actors.
Right.
Actors make choices. Actors know what a scene needs. You know,
Who was it? Who was it that coined the phrase? Because God, it's someone absolutely legendary, and I'm trying to remember who it is now. Who coined the phrase about being in bad movies?
I think it was
The
Christopher
trick
Lee.
is not to be bad in them.
Yeah, Robert brings it up all the time. That phrase.
Yeah,
Christopher Lee or what's his face?
I know the
Sean
quote.
Connery.
Yeah, like I know the quote. I just can't put a name to it.
But you know, if you're
Yeah.
a young actress, you're in a lead role. This could make or break your career. I don't blame Elizabeth Berkley, especially knowing that now. I don't really blame her for how this turned out, because if she's like, I'm in a Paul Verhoeven movie, I'm the lead. This is a big deal. I'm just gonna leave him leave myself in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then this is what that wrought. Kat, keep going. What are your other thoughts about the movie?
Sorry, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
First, like I said, I got some thoughts. So,
Go ahead.
I guess first and foremost, every man in this movie is trash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, every man is looking to exploit her, right?
Yeah.
From Jeff, the guy that picked her up.
Without exception.
Yeah, the guy that says sooner or later you're gonna have to sell it. Al, her boss at the Cheetah. The guy running the auditions. James, what the fuck, man? Everybody got AIDS.
By the way,
shit?
he's also a good actor. I don't know what
Everybody
happened
got
here.
AIDS and shit.
Oh, thank you. Everybody in this movie has been in better movies.
Yeah.
This movie had everything working, like everything going for it. It had a budget. It had a kick-ass soundtrack. It had beautiful cinematography. The costuming was beautiful. There's not a bad actor in the bunch. I mean, Kyle MacLachlan was coming off of let's see, shall we? Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, the Flintstones movie. Oh, by the way, I saw this is how young I was back then. So I saw the Flintstones movie probably a year and some change prior to seeing Showgirls. So I just knew Kyle MacLachlan as a dick. Blue Velvet yet. I hadn't seen Twin Peaks yet. I hadn't seen Dune yet, and I still won't sit. I love myself too much to sit through it. So Mr. Slate and Zach were my only two frames, or were my only two like references. So when he shows up in Sex and the City a few years later, I'm like, oh god, he's gonna be a dick again, isn't he? But it just. And you see a couple of Paul Verhoeven regulars. That Phil guy was also in Starship Troopers. He plays a very small part as like a reporter, like an on-the-field reporter. You got Rena Riffle, which was her first movie. We're gonna come back to her, so put a pin in that. Also being a stripper. But the soundtrack is kick ass. It's got
it really is.
It's got Prong. It's got No Doubt. It's got Freaks of Desire. It's got My Life of the Thrill Kill Cult. It's got Susie Sue and the motherfucking Banshees closing out the movie. And it has the first like released recording. Well, not released recording, but like the first. Yeah, we'll go with that. Like the first release recording of "I'm Afraid of Americans" by David Bowie and Trent Reznor. I did my homework. This was a full 2 years before David Bowie even released it himself, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
So for me, it kind of fits in that trend of the 90s where like mid to crappy movies with like the best soundtrack you ever heard.
Judgment Night.
Yeah, and
Empire
and
Records.
yes.
God, I still listen to the Empire Records soundtrack so often.
Right? Yeah, this Strange Days, The Crow,
The Crow, I listened to that the other day.
Judgment Night.
Yeah.
So but okay, I'm going off topic. So Nomi Malone is a lot. Okay. She's a lot. She really is. And when I saw it, and then up until recently, I'm like, God, dude, calm down. Sit down, take a deep breath, have some cocoa, and chill out.
Have some cocoa.
Take a second before you gut someone with your switchblade, baby.
Have a Snickers.
Have a Snickers. You're not yourself when you're hungry. And then I realized, wait a minute. This didn't happen in a vacuum. Like, she didn't wake up one morning and go, you know what? I'm going to be nasty to everyone. No. This is a girl coming from a lot of unresolved, unhealed childhood trauma. When Zach is confronting her about her past, you know, how her father killed her mother and then killed himself, running away from a foster home, getting picked up for prostitution, assault with a deadly weapon, possession of crack cocaine. Like, this is a girl who has been through hell, has lived more life in her 23 years than most people have.
Okay, I think I see where you're going.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with Nomi.
Okay.
You can do all of those things, and all of those things can be true, but then you need actress, Tomb Raider, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Angelina Jolie.
Thank you. Girl Interrupted.
Oh,
Angelina Jolie.
Sure.
So that's my point, though, Kat. Is
Yeah,
I believe those things are true about this character, but their reactions to things.
Yeah, no, I'm not making excuses for her or Paul Verhoeven. I'm just, like, this is more of an explanation rather than an excuse.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to Zach, which is just a piece of shit. When he's like threatening to go to the press because, or, like threatening because, of her really seedy past. Okay, number one, way to slut shame and victim blame, guy. Real cute of you.
I think that was the point.
Second and most important is, motherfucker, you're in Vegas. This is a topless show. Like, she's not Cinderella at Disneyland. She's in a titty show.
What's hilarious to me about Showgirls is that nobody really gets the point of Showgirls. The point will be made much better and much more succinctly when America Ferrera delivers everything Paul Verhoeven was trying to say in a monologue at the end of Barbie.
Yeah. Another thing is, hold on, I got notes.
I have a weird question about something. And feel free, understandable if either of you or both of you have to say, gee, Sean, I have no idea. But I know that Vegas residencies have once more become very in vogue and have become a very justifiably huge deal. And it, certainly nothing to be ashamed of. If anything, I think it's considered more of an honor than
I mean,
than
that
anything
was
else.
mob for a very long time too.
Well, yeah, but what I'm wondering is, with all the pomp that this movie seems to suggest they would be surrounded by, is it really that big a deal in Las Vegas local news when there's a new lead showgirl in a show that's not someone, like, as they kind of alluded to, like, who they throw out there, like Janet Jackson
Paula
or
Abdul.
something? Yeah, or Paula Abdul. Is it that big a deal if it's not in Vegas, if it's not someone
Absolutely
who's
not.
a big name like that?
No, especially not then. Um,
I've
like,
never thought so, but I was wondered.
like, so there are still Las Vegas showgirls, but like, as the culture shifted in Las Vegas from like Sin City to more of like a family friendly,
Yeah, more of a family playground. Yeah.
uh,
Disney World with just a little bit of zest.
it's a little zesty,
Yeah.
tangy. Uh,
Back
but
to
no,
back to your notes, Kat.
what?
So back to your notes. What were you? Where were you
Okay,
going?
okay. Where was I going? Okay. So let's talk about Gina Gershon for a minute. She seems to be the only person in this movie that knows what movie she's in. Knows, like, she understands the
Yeah.
assignment. She understands the assignment. She is chewing the scenery. She's breaking off little pieces and dipping it.
She's chewing the scenery, Christopher
She's eating it
Walken
like doggy
style.
cow.
She's chewing the scenery, Christopher Walken style. She's not doing a Denzel Washington in Training Day, where she's banging her dick into everything.
No,
Like-
that's more Nomi's area of expertise.
That's the whole other thing. But to stick with Gina Gershon, people think chewing the scenery, you have to be like loud and obnoxious and
No.
over the top. Gina Gershon is just kind of leaning into her villainy. She's more like Maleficent than anything else.
Actually, she's not even a true villain. She's more of an anti-heroine at this point. No, like, one of my favorite parts of the movie is like the day after Nomi has her first show, and she's like, oh well, she's going to go back to work on her turns. And she goes, is anybody here? And we hear back here, and the lights come on, and she's in the seats wearing that cowboy hat, that drop waist fringe leather jacket with that crushed organza shirt with the black bra underneath. Sorry, it's I'm a costume whore, okay? Like, the wardrobe and the costumes in this are chef's kiss. They're beautiful. Except for that, like, janky Versace dress that Nomi just had to have. In her TJ Maxx Versace. But and she's doing bump the coke, right? She goes, finest cocaine in the world, darling. You want some? Yeah, no, she's wonderful. Like, she is the lesbian mom I've always wanted, the sister I've always needed. She is the shit, and I don't, and I will not accept any other way to talk about it.
Past a certain point, it's hard to even really dislike her.
I know, because she's right in everything.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really you can't really get mad at her for not being something she was never trying to be.
And
She is going with the flow of traffic, so to speak.
yeah, I mean, like, she is a cog in the machine at this point. Like, it's not her show. It's their show. She is the same, like, she's a dancing a monkey just like everyone else on that stage. She just happens to make a lot more money.
Yeah.
And when she's talking about, like, how Nomi's not dancing at the cheetah. And of course, it cuts to her the cheetah, and she's dancing like an electrocuted psycho on fire. Uh, that ain't dancing, I can tell you that much right now. But you don't know shit. Sit down, youngin'. But what she's doing is still sex work, and that's okay. Like, when they're at Spago and they're having lunch, and she's, and she's like, I didn't like, when she's like, I didn't like showing them off at the cheetah. She goes, oh, it made me feel like a hooker. And she goes, you are a whore. We all are. Like, it's okay. Be a whore. Make some money.
Yeah.
Show them what you got so you can get what you need. Like, I'm not saying that this movie is all about body positivity, because it's not. But
No.
But at least Crystal was trying.
Before I pass it over to Sean and then we move on to the next movie, a couple of things about the film. Elizabeth Berkley gets unfairly tarred with bad actress. I can't remember the guy's name, but the black dancer who she hooks up with for a little bit.
James.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He is also awful in this. And I have seen him in other stuff.
He's in South Central. He's great.
Yeah, he's good in good movies. He's sometimes good in bad movies. Here, it was almost like he kind of watched Elizabeth Berkley perform, like, all right, I guess I'll be that bad. The other thing is, sorry, you can write men shitty. I'm all for that. You can write a movie that meditates on the shittiness of men and the trials and tribulations of what women go through. That is what Paul Verhoeven was trying to do. You can't be this blunt about it.
Mm-mm.
There are lines that James gives that sound not believable at all. Like, I'm listening to him and I'm like, I understand you're trying to paint him as kind of a creep. But at one point he's like talking to the girl he hooks up with after Elizabeth Berkley, and he's like, go on and get me a drink, bitch. And I think I performed that line better than he did. Also, it was like, not you either. The big problem with this is Paul Verhoeven was all about, like, I need characters to deliver points. Like, this is less a cast of characters and more a team of debaters. Like, everyone delivers their lines like they're trying to make a point for Paul Verhoeven. Like, they're speaking his thoughts, his meditations, and they don't ever sound like people.
Like they're trying to fulfill a quota.
Yeah. The only really believable scene in this is when they're doing the auditions and the guy is just like, you're fat, you come back when you have a better nose. He's
some of the baby fat off.
Yeah, and it's like, it's made to look like, oh, that's really dehumanizing. That's really, that really reduces women to just body, which is kind of the point of the movie. Except that that's exactly what that would be like.
Mm-hmm.
A guy making a show that involves naked bodies, his first thought is going to be, do you have a nice looking naked body? And can you maintain it? And then can you move it in the way I need it moved? Period.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to say, and then I'll give it to Sean and we can move on. Some might say Elizabeth Berkley's line delivery is the problem here. It's not. Not until I saw House of Gucci and watched Adam Driver and Lady Gaga approximate sex have I seen an unbelievable, and I don't mean like flabbergasting, I mean like I don't believe this is actually happening. The sex scene with Elizabeth Berkley and Kyle MacLachlan in the pool. I'm going to assume, and don't you dare interrupt me here, I'm going to assume Emperor Palpatine was off screen doing electric charges into Elizabeth Berkley, and poor Kyle MacLachlan was like, oh, my hair. What the fuck was that supposed to be? I've had sex in pools a lot. You don't move like that. Not unless you try to hurt someone.
Right. So okay, first of all, it's don't ever have sex in a pool. Don't ever have sex in a pool, not the ocean, not a lake. Ugh.
Definitely not the ocean. Yeah.
Not a hot tub, because guess what happens? Micro tears, right? Like, are you trying to get a terrible yeast infection? Because that's how you get a terrible yeast infection. And guess what, buddy? That shit transmits.
We'll have a talk about conversation pools off air. Go ahead. Your point about Elizabeth Berkley's physical acting, if you please. Cat.
Oh, yeah. So did you guys notice that she was making the same movements on the lap dance as she was in the pool, like that fish out of water shit?
Yes.
Why? Like, is that how she fucks? Because if that's how she fucks, like it hurts my hips just looking at it.
The really scary thing you have to ask yourself also is this the way Elizabeth Berkley actually fucks?
No,
or is this the way Paul Verhoeven told her to fuck?
That's the thing. That is obviously Paul Verhoeven going, they are in the throes of passion, which makes me think Paul Verhoeven is autistic.
That's not passion. That is a seizure, my man.
Exactly. She's being electrocuted.
Yeah.
By Palpatine. Oh, another thing. Okay, so this was written by Joe Esterhaus.
Yeah.
The same guy that wrote Basic Instinct, by the way. And apparently he was going through a divorce. Yeah.
Yeah, he may not have, it's very clear he did not like women at the time.
Yeah, no, he was going through a divorce, so it colors his writing, because this movie, so not only does it not pass the Bechdel test, like it forgot its name. Okay, it gets a 0. Like, it spells its name wrong.
It wiped its ass with the Scantron and handed that in.
In the interest of time, Sean, your final thoughts about Showgirls.
Sorry.
Well, you all kind of said just about everything else that really could be said about it, except I will throw in just one or two other things. You know, I have to give all due credit to the entire cast up and down for trying to make the absolute best of some of the most jackass, nobody talks that way dialogue. It's not just their actions, it's not just their movements. Can't go understated. Fucking nobody talks this way. But at the same time, what's even more mesmerizing, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I've never seen such aside from obviously the big over-the-top, bombastic, special effects bukkake epics, a movie where everything's so bad is somehow composed, lit, and shot so that it legitimately looks so fucking good.
Jim.
Even Elizabeth Berkley's absolutely unhinged humping at all times. You know, obviously her body is not the problem. Absolutely not.
And that basically
Um,
lines. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
shot so beautifully.
yes, it is absurdity. It is fucking Markiplier level bad physical comedy, but it looks absolutely mesmerizing. You can't take your eyes off the horrors unfolding before you.
Oh,
It is blessing and curse. And I will say this, yeah, God bless Gina Gershon. She is out here the only one actually giving a character really any semblance of depth. And that's a little bit unfair to Elizabeth, I grant, because as we established, she was probably listening to everything Verhoeven was telling her to do and going, okay, you know what? That Bayside High money ain't gonna last forever. I better go ahead and just be the good soldier and do as I'm told. And lo and behold, what she got for it, while Verhoeven historically has gotten off kind of scot-free for his part in this atrocity. But Gina on the other hand is out here doing her level best, as Mark said, understanding the assignment and playing a truly interesting character where you're going, I feel like I should like you a lot less than I actually do. I'm not actively rooting for you, but I'm hard pressed to find anything you're legitimately doing wrong. If anything, and some people could maybe point to the whole boat show sequence, but the
okay.
problem with that is that's not even necessarily her like trying to hold down or sabotage an understudy so much as it feels more like an elaborate professional wrestling rib to
Yeah,
fuck somebody over.
right. And honestly, like, I don't think that her and Zach were exclusive anything anyway. I don't even think that she cared.
Oh no.
Um, I don't even think that she cared that he fucked her. Like I feel like Zach was probably right. Like, are you mad because I did, or are you mad because I beat you to the punch?
They were at least fuck buddies, but at very best they were dysfunctional swingers.
Yeah,
I don't want to take this podcast down another rabbit hole that gets us here for 3 hours instead of the 2
right,
that
I'm
we're working
sorry.
on. No. I'm making a
Sorry.
point, but I wanted to start it that way because I needed to signal I do not want to get into a long debate about this.
Okay.
People are weirdly possessive. They are
Oh,
weirdly
yes.
possessive in not an ethical non-monogamy. They are weirdly possessive in monogamy. And the fact that there may not have been an exclusive relationship matters not to people's weirdo insecurities and sprouting possessiveness out of nowhere. Those two could have banged everybody in Vegas, and then only one of them had to decide this one belongs to me. For no other reason than that's what they decided that day. This is my experience with humanity.
So, if I may, I think it wasn't the fact that her and Zach slept together. It was the fact that she was being replaced. I think that is what she took umbrage with.
I tend to agree with you, but yes.
Okay.
The point, there was a point raised about like it's weird that he was possessive of her, and my argument is it really isn't because people get possessive weirdly.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's true.
Anything else, Sean?
No, not really. I mean, this is one of those where we talk about movies that kind of got a second life on video or with kind of a revised historical opinion of them. Like we've talked about Halloween 3 quite a bit and how it sort of fits that niche, and other movies that time has kind of reclaimed. But this is a weird one in that, yes, we've pretty successfully recontextualized it. but at the same time, it's still fucking bad. But it also kind of holds up to that notion of these are the bad movies you're supposed to make fun of because because while yes, it was trailblazing, it was groundbreaking, it had to fall on its ass and shit itself on the way down so that other better movies could kind of run. At the same time, you're still just kind of going bless your heart at someone's genuine best effort and not something that they tried to make out of some misguided effort to be ironic. Make fun of this movie. Go ahead. Poke fun at this one all you want. But please just leave the Sharknadoes of the world by the roadside.
In 1989, Patrick Swayze graced the world with Roadhouse. And somewhere along the line, someone said, okay, what if Roadhouse but a girl? And somebody else said, well, you can't make her a girl bouncer. That's silly. Girls don't have muscles. And another man said, what if she's a stripper? It's kind of like a bouncer, but a girl. And they went, great. What have you got for me? We have Striptease. That is my introduction of this movie. I said to Robert last year when we talked The Substance, I adore Demi Moore. I was in like the right age bracket to have grown up with her as like a sex symbol because like kind of like Alyssa Milano. I'm young when she's young doing movies, and as I got older, she got older and she got into racier movies. Demi Moore also, I think, is an underrated actress. I don't think she gets the credit that she deserves, and go back and listen to my rants on The Substance for more on that. I don't need to repeat myself here. Needless to say, though I enjoyed Demi Moore and I liked most of what she's done, I felt no need to see her in Striptease. I think at the time I was like, I can see real strippers. And this isn't Paul Verhoeven trying to do a meditation on sexuality, so I'm not really interested in this. Having watched the movie now, it's very much of its time. I said in my intro, like this looked like a romantic comedy kind of walked into, a noir, a Florida noir for that matter. I said last week, I think it was, on The Running Man, like they just fucking drop you in. You're like, wow, there's no world building here at all. It's just like, boom, here we go. First scene in Striptease is she's in court with her asshole husband and an even worse judge. And it's just like, I am a good mother. I am touched by an angel, and I will keep this child safe from all the bad things. This is a drug addict, criminal, asshole, communist, Muslim terrorist. And the judge goes, I will put the daughter with the husband. And Demi Moore turns into a donkey. First scene. It's amazing. From that point on, this is a weird movie. Like I can see, like I haven't read the novel. I don't really know anything about the novel, but this definitely, this felt like this movie paces like a novel. The weird kind of intertwining of a variety of plot lines feel very novel-esque. It seemed like there was great care to kind of keep that aesthetic throughout the movie. And while Showgirls is not shows a lot of boobs. I didn't want to interrupt you earlier, but there's a great line from Ted Lasso about that. He's just like, you think that was too many fucks? No, it's kind of like the nipples in Showgirls. After a while, I don't even see them anymore. I just get sucked into the narrative. Much like Showgirls isn't really about tits per se, Striptease is also not really about strippers. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in this movie, but what is put out front and what is the movie called? It's called Striptease, and every image of this movie when it was going through its marketing was Demi Moore prancing across that stage, huzzah, with the shirt. You don't know anything else about this movie. That's all you see. That is one scene, and while you're at the strip club setting a bunch, you're mostly backstage. A lot of time is spent with the girls kind of hanging around with the daughter, etc. So the movie lures you in with the prospect of Demi Moore movies, and then it wants to tell you this tale about corruption, chauvinism, sexuality, how hard it is to be a single mom. Go away.
Damn.
So those are my initial thoughts on Striptease. I will come back. Actually, I want to say this now because I may not get a chance later, and I might forget. Ving Rhames is an incredible actor. I don't know what he's doing in this movie. He is like channeling years ahead of him, like weirdo beta level boys, who are into writing poetry or something. I don't know what Ving Rhames was doing in this movie, but you know that Peter Griffin line of "someone better throw a pie real soon." The only way I remembered he was a real man was occasionally he beat the shit out of someone. Other than that, he's just like even his line delivery. Like, who are you, William S. Burroughs?
Oh, is that a roach? No, it's a fucking shrimp. Like,
Just
so
like, I'm making this yogurt. I might get a lot of dude, are you sniffing glue on set? Speed it up here.
chill. Just real chill.
All right. Sean, your thoughts on Striptease?
You would do this just to get a mouthful of a snack.
Yeah, I would.
All right. One of the nicest things about this movie is the fact that at least I have people that I can say that I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
Is the story reductive? Yes, in some of the most 90s possible ways.
Mm-hmm.
Does it lean in to one of the stereotypes of sex work that I resent and that boils my blood most? And that is that it should strictly be the domain of washouts and, of course, single moms, because we have to have every stripper be a single mom, because why else would anybody else embrace sex work except for that one? Of course, again, I look forward to ignoring your comments. Yes, I'm aware that there are many who do go into it for exactly that reason. But no, kindly don't shit on my head and tell me it's raining by trying to tell me that every single fucking piece of media in that fucking decade wasn't trying to make exactly that fucking point. I know better. Thank you. I came of age during that decade too. Suck my dick. But it doesn't have that. Is it campy? Oh, Jesus God, yes, and not always in the good way. Did it capitalize a lot on the fact that Demi Moore's tits were a sought-after sight that we just weren't able to seek out very widely at that time, largely because the internet was not the internet quite yet? Oh, most definitely. But at the same time, one, it was at least fun. Number two, it's buried under some of the most generic, low-hanging fruit sleaze you're going to find in this class of sex movie, especially in the 90s. But it does have a heart, an at least semi-admirable one. And again, as a result of that, at least I have people in this movie that I can root for. To be honest, I didn't give too much of a fuck what happened to almost anybody in Showgirls by the end of it. It was like Great Gatsby bad, how little I cared what happened to any of these awful, awful fucking people. The best I could do was the fact that I kind of admired how upfront Gina Gershon was about her character and the fact that she was just playing by the rules, where again, going with the flow of traffic. Meanwhile, Nomi is going here 15 miles under in the left lane. And when she did try to speed up, it just so happened that for the most part, up to a certain point, Crystal was playing the game better because she had the experience edge. But then, Crystal also, one of the better character moments of the movie was kind of pointing out, I saw this coming. I knew it was going to happen eventually. And well, you kind of did exactly what I would have done. Can't even be mad. It's still not something that I think needs to be pointed to as being progressive. The whole thing with triple feature is oftentimes when we pick these movies, there's often a beginning, middle, and kind of end of sort of the evolution of whatever it is we happen to be looking at. It's kind of the mutation of Long Road to Ruin that way. But on the other hand, this week it's interesting because these movies came out so close together. It's more like looking at when certain bullshit kind of hit its apex and sort of how far we've come now when we arrive at the much more thoughtful, if still definitely imperfect, Hustlers. So I would say watch it, but know that when I say it was a different time, it's a product of its time, I'm not saying that in any way to excuse it or trying to defend it. It's more so pointing it out like the disclaimer at the front of classic Looney Tunes when you see them nowadays, in the sense of, look, you're getting what you're getting. We can't necessarily excuse it, but we're not going to try to play you either. So, beware. Demi doesn't turn in a bad performance. Nobody in the movie, well, I won't say nobody in the movie turns in a bad performance, but Ving, I think, is just trying to be kind of a little bit nuanced with the musclehead character. And Mark can say what he will. Mark and I do disagree sometimes, and in this case, I kind of appreciated it. I didn't mind that he was kind of playing the bouncer with the big soft heart of gold. Demi had to know that, again, she was being fed another tired trope that the single mom that women, especially around her age, so often kind of got reduced to at that point in her career. Again, doing the best she can. Burt Reynolds is fucking Burt Reynolds. You know what you're getting, and this is one time I'm genuinely glad it's there, because it's such a hand in a glove fit for this story and this setting and this character. It's just too perfect. I would say watch it if you want to, but know that even among movies about sex, there's better ones you probably could be watching.
Kat, your thoughts?
So I am going to respectfully disagree. This movie is not about sex, like, whatsoever. This is this movie. This movie might as well have been produced by Disney, because a lot of it is very, very wholesome. But that is my thoughts on that. So I saw this movie when I was 10, right? And and what drew me to the movie wasn't the fact that, like, ooh, strippers. It was the cast. It was Demi Moore.
I think that was what they were going for.
It was Demi Moore, who, by the way, at the time, accepted the highest salary of any woman at the time.
Mm-hmm.
For a movie, I think it was $12 million. and all she had to do was show off a boob job. Well, okay, that's not all she had to do, but I was like, oh, she's got new boobs. Good for her. Um, I will tell you that both Elizabeth Berkley and Demi Moore put some skin into the game. You know, like they went to titty bars, they talked to exotic dancers, they took, you know, like both of them took pole dancing classes. So like at least they were prepared.
If I recall correctly, and Kat, you are more the cinephile than I am in this sense. If I recall correctly, when Demi actually went on stage, I believe she insisted on not keeping $1 of the tips and giving them to the rest of the girls.
Oh yeah, like that I believe that is true. Which just goes to show you that Demi Moore has always been that bitch. Like hands down, she yeah, she is always good 10 toes down. I will say that at least we have some good men in this cast with Ving Rhames and Armand Asante as Shad and Detective whatever, respectively. I love Burt Reynolds in this movie. He's so gross. He's so funny. When Righteous Gemstones came out and you see Walton Goggins as Baby Billy, I'm like, hey, he's doing a Burt Reynolds impression with that golden tan skin and the white hair and those phosphorescent white teeth. He looks like a photo negative, and I'm there for it. And I gotta tell you, this is another movie. Oh, and also fucking Robert Patrick. Like he for some reason plays that white trash, terrible husband, piece of shit. Like he's so good at that. He did it, you know, like in this, he does it in Peacemaker too, but like he plays a good piece of shit. Like to the point where I'm like, I don't really like him anymore. Under the T-1000. And I will also give my props to whomever decided to have Demi Moore dance exclusively to Annie Lennox on stage. Which is a choice. I don't know if it's a good one, but it's like this is the reason why I know so much about why I became a fan of Annie Lennox, basically. Yeah, dude, amazing. And again, Rena Riffle plays another stripper. I sense a theme. Like, honestly, I think these are the only two movies I've ever seen her in. And so I love Demi Moore. Don't get me wrong. I think she's great in this, but you know how Gina Gershon was the only person who knew what movie she was in?
Yeah.
In Showgirls? Yeah, I don't feel that Demi Moore knew what movie she was in.
Oh, I don't know why you say that.
No, well, because okay, so everybody's playing this like for laughs, right? Like everybody's playing this very tongue-in-cheek, except for her. She plays it real deadpan. She plays it real.
She plays it sincere.
Yeah, she plays it sincere.
But I'm going to debate you on this slightly.
Yeah.
You. Demi Moore is your lead sympathy character. The movie wants to tell you it's hard being a woman. Especially hard being a single mom.
Yeah.
Every institution designed by man makes life more difficult than necessary to be a woman. And there's black people behind women going, you have no idea. So, and I'm not here to get into an institutional racism or an institutional sexism discussion. I'm here to talk about the movie. And the movie is telling you about institutional sexism. So you have this woman who all she wants is to be a mother to her daughter who is in danger. First scene that you
She's
see the
played by
daughter in, she's a part of a con. She's, the dad's wheeling her around in a stolen wheelchair. This is a child in danger. It's played for laughs, and because Hollywood doesn't like children, it doesn't really it doesn't make the connection that I'm making that you shouldn't do that. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, and I don't want to really get into a whole thing about that either. My point is, she's doing her job. She's supposed to play it sincere because you are supposed to sincerely identify with her. Like, men are supposed to go see Striptease because you get to see Demi Moore's boobs. But while you're there, the movie has to keep you interested in her, and it has to do it in a way that isn't going to aggravate the men that see this. You do that by making her sympathetic.
Yeah, and I am not saying that her performance was bad, because it wasn't. I don't think the woman's capable of turning in a bad performance, even in bad movies. But I feel like this was marketed as a screwball comedy.
Was it?
It feels like it was. I mean, look at what happens in it.
Well, the only one doing screwball comedy is Burt Reynolds, and to a lesser extent, what's his face, Patrick.
And Chad and Ving Rhames. Okay, he's very good.
Okay, I think you're actually making a different point that
Okay.
you don't realize you're making, and I'm going to help you. This movie doesn't know what it is. This movie doesn't know what it is.
It doesn't.
It is. I didn't notice it at first, but I do think now that you're talking about it, and this is the point of these discussions, when we can have them, is I don't think tonally it knows what it is. I think it's a wild genre blend.
Yeah.
In the way that we're not sure if we're making a frothy drink or if we're making, a clear drink or if we're making a shake. I don't know what we're doing here, but we're throwing lots of stuff in the blender. And so it's like, here, drink this. And it's like, well, what is
making a whiskey drink. We're making a vodka drink. We're making a lager drink. We're making a cider drink.
Yeah. So it's like, you hand somebody a drink, you're like, well, what is this?
You're gonna get
It's got vodka in it. That doesn't tell me what it is. That's kind of Striptease. I'm going to give you the last word here, and then we'll start to close out and move on to Hustlers. Kat.
I mean, honestly, I also love this. I know that it's not a good movie, but I also don't care because I love everybody in the movie.
Why do you guys keep saying it's a bad movie?
I mean, come on, man.
If this is a bad movie, then Roadhouse is a bad movie.
Roadhouse is a bad movie, but that doesn't mean it's not a
Yes.
Yes.
I think I said on the podcast at the time, Roadhouse is a very well-made movie.
Yes, it's a very well-made movie, but okay. Sorry. I guess let me rephrase that question, or what I'm going to say. Okay, it's not a bad movie, but it's high camp. Like, both of these movies are camp.
Oh, yeah.
Like, completely. I mean, from the stripper that has the Burmese named Monty Python to, oh God, the roach gag. When Armand Asante does like a Casablanca-esque speech when that body comes floating up to him.
Mm.
When they're on the boat and the bodyguards are like, who are you? Barbara Bush. Who is he? George Bush. Like, it's high camp. I do understand why this movie didn't do as well as it was originally thought to have been projected, because it is
hard to sell sex to the mainstream America.
It came off the heels of Showgirls. So when the box office return for them were less than great. They tried to distance themselves hard from Showgirls. Honestly, I think they should have just leaned into it. Like, I'm pretty sure they cut out a couple of scenes with Demi Moore's boobs, and by the way, that body is sick. Okay, like, to this day, I don't know what she does, but snaps to your mama. Like,
When we reviewed The Substance, Robert and I we did an entire bit about how Demi Moore. I don't know why they other than she's a great actress and she deserves the gig. My
yeah,
argument was, if you're going to cast an elder actress who's having insecurities and problems with her age and people are kind of viewing her as past her prime, why would you cast Demi Moore?
honestly,
She's
I think
hot
that
as
was,
she ever was.
honestly, I think that's perfect casting on their part, because even today she's 63 years old and she is still
Stunning.
stunning, a goddess. Yeah, she is. She's how Vita Boheme described Julie Newmar. Statuesque. She's beautiful. She will always be beautiful. Some people just don't age, and she's one of them. Or she has access to the best plastic surgeons, nutritionists, doctors,
All right.
personal trainer, blah, blah, blah. But no, like, yes, no, this movie is, I wish it did better. I wish it was a little bit better, because this was one of the movies that pushed Demi into hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's my last word. It's also another hill that I will die on. This movie's great.
All right. Our last movie before I die tonight is
Okay.
Hustler, starring Jennifer Lawrence. As I said before, it was written and directed by Lorene Scafaria, based on The Hustlers That Scores by Jessica Pressler, which was an article. It was produced by Jessica Elbaum, Will Ferrell, and Adam McKay. This absolutely feels like an Adam McKay movie. Stars Constance Wu, Jennifer Lopez, Julia Stiles, Kiki Palmer, Lily Reinhart, Lizzo, and Cardi B.
Yes.
On a $20 million budget, it made $157 million in the year of our Lord 2019, when every movie made $1 billion. We were all watching Endgame. Here's this little movie. Kind of feels like a Scorsese flick, but with, self-control. It is the most serious of the three. It is the best made. It is the least interesting. And not that it's not an interesting topic. I mean, we spent an hour on fucking Showgirls, and I could have done an on trial on this. We could have spent 3 hours.
Yeah.
There was more that could have been said about Striptease, but again, interesting time. I probably have the least to say about Hustlers. This is a pretty straightforward, lacking in aesthetic, or the aesthetic is every Adam McKay movie I've ever seen. It's the framing device is an interview for the article that this movie is based on, and it's like, here, strippers, here, the crash of 2008. Here, we turn the tables on sexism, but we do it in a criminal way. We get caught. Finn. This is a long movie to tell a very simple story about a world that I think the director thinks nobody knows about. But in 2019, I'm hard pressed to believe that. Like, again, the benefit of Striptease and Showgirls is that at that time, there probably weren't too many movies in the mainstream that were doing that sort of thing. By the time we get to Hustlers, we've had a lot of this in different ways. I mean, and if you're just like, well, what about the men? Yes, we've also had the Magic Mike movies by this point.
And the Full Monty.
Yeah. And if you want to not focus on strippers, we've had plenty of movies and TV shows that dealt with pornography, hooking, all kinds of sex work stuff. So while I don't think Hustlers is bad or unentertaining, I think if you're a fan of any of these women, or you like seeing men preyed upon after, after showing women being preyed upon, and it's like, haha, this is a revenge fantasy, which was very 2019 at the time. This is almost right in the way of, what is it, Pretty Young Woman? Do you have any clue what I'm talking about before I have to look it up? It was a movie. I think the actress in it won an Oscar. Anyway, I'm gonna stop there so I can A, look it up, and B, breathe. What did you think of Hustlers?
Nora?
Huh? No. That is a whole different affair.
All right, cool.
Your thoughts, madam?
Oh, well, okay.
Promising young woman. Jesus Christ. Promising young woman in 2020.
Okay. Yeah.
With everyone's favorite man hater, Carey Mulligan. Okay, back to you.
Honestly, so right off the bat, this is another movie where the men, most men are just god awful in this. So as somebody who has been a victim of predatory men and a benefactee of them, it's kind of nice to see somebody be an aggressor too. But I mean, that also might be not only because I am a woman, so I'm used to, so I've been used to men being creepy about me since I was 13, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. You guys are cool. A lot of people in your gender are not.
Yeah.
But another thing that colors.
I don't want to be that guy, but that goes both ways. Please continue.
Oh, completely. No. I'm not. I'm not saying that we're angels. Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. There's a lot of bad people out there, guys.
Yeah.
Be careful.
All shapes and sizes.
Most definitely. Oh God, yeah. So another thing that colors my opinion on this is the 2008 crash hit my family especially hard.
Mm-hmm.
My mom worked her ass off to get where she was. She took a big gamble. She went back to school at 45, became an RN while raising 2 over 4 kids. The other 2 had already grown up, moved out, were having families of their own. To finally get to that point where she was comfortable, where she didn't have to worry about money, where we didn't have to worry about the utilities getting shut off. That was a monumental accomplishment, right? And then she gets sick in 2008, right? And her 401k gets hacked in half. So I don't remember how much she had in it, but it was a lot of money, and it got hacked in half. And of course, she had to cash it in because she got sick all of a sudden, had to take early retirement. And then about 15 months later, we lost our house.
Oh.
The house that she had worked so hard to purchase by herself and maintain this house, right? All for it to be washed down the drain because of the people like the CEOs and stockbrokers and in this movie.
Right.
So I literally did not have sympathy for a damn person in this movie. Fuck them.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's where my thoughts come from. This is a very visually beautiful movie.
It's striking, sure.
So everybody looks amazing in this movie. Jennifer Lopez. There's another person whose face card does not decline. She is beauty. She is great. She is Miss United States. She's fucking amazing. She's also another one who actually took classes to learn how to pole dance, and she, and she's a dancer anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So they did not have to use any body doubles on this. The cast is great. I love Constance Wu. I think she's great in this. Keke Palmer is always a treat to see. I think she's amazing. Oh, by the way, did you guys know that Bud from Home Alone is in this movie?
What?
Yes, he's Steven.
Oh yeah. Now I see it.
Yeah. So when I first saw him, I'm like, is that
Oh my God.
Yes, that's Bud McAllister.
Can I tell you that scene where she calls him clearly looking for money or looking to be taken care of out of desperation,
Yeah.
and when she's not going to get anywhere with him, she hangs up on him immediately, and my visceral knee-jerk reaction was, "You fucking monster."
Yeah. Okay. So yes and no.
I'm not asking for anyone to agree with me. I'm sharing a thought that I had.
I think it was more. I mean, yes, that, and also he's married too, and she. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I don't know.
That's
But
not why she hung up.
fair enough. I mean, and then you'll see later on in the movie. So their actions are hard to defend.
I'm not taking anything away from your personal experience, and I'm not taking anything away from, I saw The Big Short, and it kind of explained what happened in 2008 as well as it's going to get explained. And it's not like I hold what these people did or how they did it in great esteem, like I'm cheering them on. I'm going to say this. If you would like to take issue with it, I'm not going to say no, but I don't believe there's a reason to be bad. Like there's a justification for it. I think being bad is just being bad.
Yeah.
And you can pitch all the revenge, and God knows I've watched a revenge fantasy or two in my time and cheered on the person, the bride in Kill Bill, murdering everybody that got in her way, and some twice. We all cheer the bride.
Of course.
So it's not that I'm completely ridiculous about this sort of thing, but I don't believe there's a justification ever for being terrible.
Especially when you see people.
And while I sympathize with the characters in this movie, I sympathize with you. A lot of people had it rough in 2008, to say the least. I will never, and I can never justify criminal, bad, immoral, illegitimate behavior because bad things are happening to you. My father once said, and I will shut up after this, you do the right thing not because you'll gain anything out of it, but because it is the right thing. And I try very, very hard to live by that. So while I'm not mad at the women in this movie, certainly not the actresses, of which we should talk about at some point, the characters in this movie who are based on real people, I'm not mad at them. I understand why they did what they did. I understand the point the movie's trying to make. Again, promising young woman. I don't have to like it, and I don't have to say it's, this is justified. That is my right. Your thoughts?
I mean, honestly, I do agree with that. I'm not saying that it's a justification. It's, it's an explanation, not a justification.
Sure.
Like I said, like me sharing my experiences with both of the antagonists in this film, if you can call it that, does not excuse drugging people
No, it does not.
and stealing their money. Also, they probably should have aimed higher because there were a couple people they hit that were just like, God, poor Doug. Don't hit a guy wearing Oxfords. Come on. But or topsiders or whatever. But like, I can see where they're coming from, even though them drugging people did squick me out.
As it should.
Like, yeah. Like,
I'm gonna bite my hand here.
especially considering how dangerous those drugs are. Ketamine and MDMA.
Yeah. They're not pharmacists. You could kill
No,
people
they're
doing
not
that sort of thing.
at all.
All right.
So-
I'm gonna either finish up your thought or I'm gonna put you on pause because I want to get Sean in here. Are you wrapping up?
Yeah, I'm wrapping up. Like it began to like students wick me out when they took it that way, but like I said, I don't like it, but I have very little sympathy for people who escape their jobs in golden parachutes and exploit women.
That's hot take.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad people are bad.
Yeah, exactly. People be peopling. I will say that it is kind of hilarious that the ladies in the movie, the 4 leads or the 5 leads, no one gets naked. We see no one's tits.
Yeah.
Except for like background characters. Like
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez, we see nothing.
Like we see, I think it's Keke Palmer. Like she's running around, but she's got the see-through thing on.
Lizzo and Cardi B have pasties. That's all we get. Now you see background characters like with their tits out. There's a lot of
I may have confused them. I may have meant Lizzo. The heavier black chick.
That would be Lizzo.
Then it's Lizzo who I meant.
Yeah. And Cardi B has those like sparkly pasties. I find it funny that you never see them naked. You never see any boobs. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Well, it's clearly a choice by the director who is not trying to make an exploitive movie, a movie that exploits women. So
not necessarily.
We're telling a promising young woman here they're not going to show a lot of naked bodies.
Right. Not necessarily. I mean, it's either the director's choice or it is a clause in contracts. That is a very common one.
All right, Sean, your thoughts on Hustlers?
All right. I've been sitting here trying to think of how I wanted to word this, so I'm going to do this the best I can. I apologize somewhat if it's a little more broad than specifically narrowing in on the movie, but it's what I've got. Earlier when Kat and I were briefly bantering on Messenger over watching the movies, she kind of quipped that this would be a great game of guess which movie was written by a woman.
Yeah.
And I now absolutely see what she means.
Yeah.
And I actually mean that in the best possible way. Over the last 9 years, almost 10 years, I've undergone a real sea change wherein I have cared less and less with every passing year about being the bigger person. And I mean that in a lot of senses. in terms of what happened to the men in this movie and the ones that they're based on, do I feel bad that they were financially, generationally crippled by this? Some of them? Fuck no, I don't feel bad about that. Absolutely not. No, never for a second. Now, I do not condone that they drugged them to do it.
Yeah.
However, even then, I would still say it's one of those cases where I feel bad for that part, but since it's you fucks, I can only feel so bad. And I do genuinely feel bad for the not so bad ones, like Doug, that got ensnared in this whole thing. They were poorly chosen targets.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the other reason why I can only kind of feel so bad is because I see this movie as a cautionary tale, not in the sense of we had better not go overboard liberating the women folk, but in the sense of everything you're seeing is a consequence of depriving so many generations of women of basic, fundamental, institutional security and safety and a sense of trust that when they finally get even the barest taste of it, it's not Goodfellas materialism and excess that necessarily gets put on display. It's the fact that for these women, these human essentials are might as well be like a narcotic. They're so unaccustomed to them. Hang on one sec, I gotta sneeze. Thank you. And that is the real danger of it. That is the cautionary tale, is you have cut them off from this basic human respect for so long and so egregiously that, let's face it, this is kind of what happens because it becomes survival more than greed. Does it become materialistic at a certain point? Yeah, sure. But it's also well past the point when the very first things on their minds were lifting themselves up, getting themselves on solid ground, doing something for the loved ones around them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they give themselves a little something.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the film, all Dorothy wants to do is take care of her grandmother, the woman who raised her and loved her. That's it. That's all she wants. And maybe go shopping, which I completely understand. And Jennifer Lopez's character, Ramona, all she wants to do is take care of her daughter. Put her in, like, make it so that she can have the things that she never had growing up. And not only the things, the opportunity. Like,
I think of the rooftop scene between Destiny and Ramona, and I think about how that fur coat is not so much wrapping Destiny in luxury. That, I think, is a very superficial based reading of it. What it is it is providing her with the first shelter and sense of safety with someone that she's probably felt in a long fucking time.
Besides her grandmother, I mean, when I was watching this movie this afternoon and I saw that, I'm like, and like I audibly said, "Oh my God, that's so sweet," because I was thinking about like the scene between Nomi and Crystal, and then when Destiny and Ramona meet. Like, there is like, Ramona has no airs, right? She goes, "Where's your coat?" Like, she immediately goes into I'm a maternal wife.
Yeah.
Where's your coat? Let me wrap you in my fur, which I immediately giggled at that like a child, but it was so sweet and it was so
It
genuine.
really was. Well, it really was. And I think that maternal nature, and here I might be looking too deeply, and feel free to call me out for it if you think I am. I won't judge.
Yeah.
But I think at the end, I think it's when Ramona recognizes that maternal nature in Destiny, that sense of I will do anything to protect my own, in terms of that's why Destiny rolled over on Ramona, because they appealed to her, to the possibility that she might not be a part of Lily's life. And I feel like when Ramona processed that, she definitely still didn't like it. She realized it was a parting of the ways, something they could never recover from. But I feel like at that point,
She gives her
she recognized that in that same moment on that rooftop with that coat.
I
Sure.
hate to be the ants at a picnic. I hate to be the Robert Winfrey of this podcast. It's a beautiful scene. I like the scene.
Mhm.
But you guys are pointing to like the sorority among sisters, like we take care of our own, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Here's
The girl's girl.
my criticism of how it's handled in Hustlers. It's pushed a little more superficially and a little unrealistically for my taste. And I'm going to back it up by saying the following. And Sean knows what I'm talking about because we did this together. I don't know how much he remembers. I saw believable, realistic sorority and estrangement among women in Orange is the New Black.
Mm.
Go ahead, Kat.
So, you know who plays the redhead?
Who?
Madeline Brewer. You know what else part she had?
What?
Trisha in the first season of Orange is the New Black.
Marvelous.
Right.
My only
I knew I recognized her.
Yes,
my
sir.
only point is, as a film craft issue, and I'm going to bring it up again. I'm going to beat this drum till I destroy the drum. I'm not opposed to anyone doing a promising young woman, just like I'm not opposed to anyone doing any kind of film. But if you're not going to handle it deftly, I'm going to call you out for it. And you don't get to hide behind I'm doing a promising young woman so you don't get to criticize me. You don't get the Brittany Griner bubble. If I see a problem, I'm calling it out. And my issue with Hustlers, before the Ronnie Adams and Chris Baileys of the world, I'll be like, did you like it or didn't you? It's fine. It's a perfectly fine and entertaining movie.
Yeah.
This is a film criticism podcast. I shall now criticize film. This movie goes into it assuming a little too much about the godly nature of women and a little too much about the devilish nature of men. The needle is a little too far to one side than the other, and you're perfectly okay to do that. You want to make a movie that unrealistically portrays the sisterhood of women and unrealistically portrays all men as sleazebags? Please make your movie, enjoy it. I hope it makes $1 zillion. I really do.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say it.
But that's not good movie making.
Okay, but I'm just gonna say it like, what kind of guys do you think are walking into a titty bar, Mark? Isn't company excluded, of course, but like
I've been in a few, quite frankly.
I've known many men who have patronized strip clubs, and on the other side of their mouth, they're also slut shaming the dancers there. So like,
yes, there's a lot of back and forth we can do here.
Back and forth, a lot of people talking both sides of their mouth. Okay.
My issue is not so much how they portrayed the men. My issue is how they portrayed the women. That's what I called out.
Well, I mean, okay. So as I get older, the more that I'm finding good, supportive women in my life. I am really fortunate to know them now. I didn't for a long time. So for me, it's not like beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, is it?
Well, no, that's what I said. That's why I called
Yeah.
it Orange is the New Black. I gave an example of what I think is more realistic.
Yeah, but I mean, is Hustlers hyperbole? Sure. Is that um hyperbole? Sure. But I mean, like, they still skirt each other over. They
They did.
still rolled,
They did, but the out they gave it is that the girl that screws them over is a drug addict. That's crazy.
I mean, Destiny did kind of screw over.
That's a fair
Procedure
point.
here.
She takes the plea deal to save her own skin and her daughter, which is a fair enough point to the one you're making.
And the funny part about it is like she gets no punishment. Ramona gets like 5 years probation.
Yeah.
As the ringleader, and Annabelle and Mercedes go to jail for like a couple of weekends and then also get 5 years probation. Like, they got off light. They are
I have been sitting on this for the last 20 minutes.
Okay.
I debated whether or not I was going to bring it up because it's going to get me in trouble.
Go ahead.
We all hate Bill Cosby.
Fuck yeah.
What he did was wrong. He drugged and raped women.
Yeah.
This is not a hot take.
No.
I did 2 hours on Bill Cosby with Ronnie and Jesse, and we said we should not throw his art out with the man, but we should definitely throw the man out.
Uh-huh.
We can debate that at a separate time.
Of course.
My point is, when we found out Bill Cosby was drugging and taking advantage of people, it was like, burn him, nail him to a cross, burn him, and throw him into the lake. And then it's like, women are drugging and taking advantage of guys. Yeah, but the fucking economy collapsed, and these are women, and it's like, all right.
Yeah, but you also forget that Bill Cosby served 3 years in prison, and then now he's out.
Oh, I didn't forget. My point is, we react to things that are. Let me back that up. This is my deconstructionist in mind coming out, where I kind of reduce things to bare bones, and I see nothing but pattern and similarity. So I can already get where you and Sean are going to be like, you listen here, Mean Gene, and you're going to be like full of nuance and particulars and very fine detail. And I'm telling you, I'm looking at bone, and that's okay. We can both see the same thing differently.
Right.
I want to move this on. So if either one of you has anything to say, can you get it done in 50 words or less?
Sure. Honestly, I don't disagree with you on the fact that they should have probably gotten more jail time or something, because they were using 2 very dangerous drugs to drug and rob these guys. I don't take issue with what you're saying at all. I'm not saying, but I'm also not saying that the men did not deserve to, but I'm also not saying that the men did not deserve to get their bank accounts drained just a little bit. Like it's, yes, they should have served. Yes, they should have gotten harsher punishments. And I don't have any sympathy for the people that they victimized.
But if you really want to get angry about 2008, watch Too Big to Fail.
No, I already have.
All right, Sean, your thoughts?
I would just point out that, again, when you take enough away from someone or a certain community or a certain societal group, eventually all sins just become equal when it becomes a matter of survival. And the fact is, the people they're probably going to have the least conscience about preying upon are the people that they recognize as the ones who have been uniformly fucking them over for generations.
They're also
Having said that, yeah, I pretty much echo Kat's sentiments. I think if anything, their real sin was the fact that they were playing very fast and loose with drugging these men. I do not condone that whatsoever, period. But I also, love the fact that the lighter sentences they served were for the financial crimes, because it demonstrates that, yes, there was a growing absence of pity for these fucks. I don't feel any more sorry for them than I do for the goddamn hedge fund bros that got dicked over by a bunch of Redditors who decided they were going to fuck around and find out with GameStop stock. You're never going to hear me express any pity for them for getting outplayed at their own corrupt bullshit.
I mean, do we have any sympathy for the drug dealers that Omar robs in The Wire? No.
No.
Oh shit, Omar's coming. Like,
Omar
but again,
shot
but that
in a convenience store by a 10-year-old.
But again, but this
I feel
but this also, yes, stands to my point. Is I'm at a point where, I don't really give a good goddamn about the black and white anymore. I'm more so look if I were to see a crime taking place, part of me would be instantly trying to perform some integral calculus, going, wait a second, do I actually care about who's being hurt here? It's like the things we see on Facebook going. It's like the things we see on Facebook going around. If you see a mother trying to pocket some formula and diapers and sneak out of Walmart, no, the absolute fuck you didn't. But on the other hand, if I come across somebody who in a Walmart is trying to physically intimidate an employee for any reason whatsoever, of course that's going to be worth stepping in on and fine. Slap me with the assault charges if you want to, because I grabbed the nearest meat hammer and bashed his skull in. Fine, fuck it, by all means, because the right thing is not necessarily always what the law says.
That's true. I mean, like, technically people who were hiding people during the Holocaust were breaking the law. But by the way, quick question, Sean. In what aisle do you find meat hammers?
Cooking. I really like Jennifer Lawrence in this. Jennifer Lawrence is still a very fetching woman. I enjoyed her in Marry Me, which nobody saw, but I reviewed it. I read the comic with Ronnie, poor Ronnie. Jennifer Lawrence is another one who I don't think gets enough credit. I think she is a better actress than she's been portrayed. I think it depends on the project that she's in.
Yep.
I think she exudes charisma, which you might think, well, that goes kind of without saying, don't you think? I mean, no, the kind of charisma where the kind of sincerity that Demi Moore was going for, I think Jennifer Lawrence has naturally. It is easy to be sucked into the director's point of view.
Maybe I'm a moron. Are you saying Jennifer Lawrence and meaning Jennifer Lawrence, or are you thinking Jennifer Lopez?
Lopez, please excuse me. Oxygen not getting to brain.
He doesn't.
Okay, sorry.
But where I was going with this was throwing out my rather staunch views on right and wrong, and just focusing entirely on the craft of the movie. It's easy to sympathize with the women in this because Jennifer Lawrence did it again. Jennifer Lopez. Time I caught myself. Jennifer Lopez is very warm and endearing in this movie. The stuff that makes her do what she does is out of desperation, not out of vindictiveness. The thing, her taking Constance Wu, this did not go where I thought it was going to go. I figured this was going to do a Showgirls, and Constance Wu was going to be the hot thing, because I didn't know nothing about this movie. and that Jennifer Lawrence was eventually going to turn into Gina Gershon. It's not what happens. She's really phenomenal in this. I don't remember. I didn't look closely enough to see if she got any awards for it, but in a year where 10 movies at the very least all made $1 billion and Hustlers probably got buried, I would say if I had to choose of a female revenge fantasy movie to sit down and watch and be fair to, I would choose Hustlers over Promising Young Woman, almost entirely on the fact that Jennifer Lawrence is an actually endearing and sympathetic character. Last go around, 50 words or less, Kat and Sean, in that order for Hustlers. Anything else about the movie? Craft.
Martin Scorsese was actually they actually wanted him to direct it, but he couldn't because of because of his scheduling conflicts, which is why it kind of looks like a
why we're doing a Scorsese. That's great.
I know, right? I just found that out and was like, oh, that's a really fun fact. But yeah, this movie is better than the sum of its parts, even though, Jennifer Lopez is a much better actress than we give her credit for. This movie being the most recent example, Selena and Out of Sight being two other amazing examples.
Not Anaconda, though. Oh boy.
Anaconda rules, okay?
Go on.
So all in all, I was pleasantly surprised by this movie. I really was.
Last word, Sean.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. Pleasant surprise. And yes, this is probably my favorite Jennifer Lopez performance since Selena. She's not a bad actress. I don't know that she's ever been a bad actress. She was certainly in some movies that utterly tanked and were probably destined to from the start. Sure. But she's just never exactly been my cup of tea. But this was, layers and nuance and humanity that I hadn't really seen in a performance in a while. It felt like I was watching a real character, not just watching Jennifer Lopez. I don't know that there was necessarily a bad performance in the entire movie. I don't have much to say about it because I don't really have anything bad to say about it. It's fantastic. By all means, check it out and watch with an open mind.
Yeah, it's great.
The hilarious thing about Triple Feature, especially the three of us getting together and doing these as of late, is you never know which one's going to be like a quick minute, an hour and 15, barely get to an hour conversation. And this one goes over 2 hours. And you look at these movies and you're like, well, surely this will be schlock. Surely this will be a lot of titty jokes and, maybe some casual misogyny because Mark's on it. And they'll be done in an hour. Over two. You never know what you're going to get on Triple Feature. Sometimes we're like examining as a Bruder film, and sometimes we're like, it's fun. Go watch it. Plugs. So with that said, that is our
review. Someone tell me how you got the three horny gremlins together to talk about three movies centered in some way or another on stripping, and this was the one that we got the 2-hour thoughtful dialogue out of.
That's what I'm saying. It's amazing, like what happens. Because I don't plan this stuff. Like I just here's what we're talking about. Well, you got assigned it because that's kind of what happens now. And she volunteered. Clearly, she had a beanie on it, so which is perfectly fine. I always enjoy Kat and her Versace outfit that she's got on. So really quick, I went to go see probably 10, 14 years ago now. I went to go see the NoFX and the Lunatics play here in Tampa. And the lead singer of the Lunatics is in her like nurse outfit, I think. And she's like, "Do you like my outfit? It's a Versace." And everybody else in the audience, like, what? And I'm like, beer snorting out of my nose. So
Okay, so can we go back to that fucking dress? Because like it is the most off the rack, like TJ Maxx looking dress ever. Like it's
I'm just hoping people listening to this, there's at least one person going, I don't get the Versace thing. Is it like
but I mean
Look.
like it's
Look, there are two ways you can tell someone is a person of culture, and that is when discussing Versace, if the next words coming out of their mouth are either A, F, O, Sachi, or if it's you mean Versace.
yeah, there's two types of people. Or the same person.
all right.
But like so I am a clothes whore and a shoe slut. I'm also like I love costuming in movies. What took me out of X-Men First Class was the fact that the girls were wearing miniskirts and go-go boots when it's 1962. And I'm like,
Yep.
that's around then. But like it's just like you see, but and also knowing about Versace and knowing what the man's capable, what both him and Donatella are capable or weren't capable of, it pisses me off.
Okay. Folks, that is our, as I said, review of Showgirls, Striptease, and Hustlers, and Pretty Young and pretty, yes, Promising Young Woman.
Pretty.
All right. Hopefully by next week I'll have air in my lungs again. This past week, goddamn, Sunday we did the opposite of this. Myself and Jesse Starcher looked at Jonathan Lynn, decidedly not a stripper. We looked at Clue, My Cousin Vinny, and Trial and Error.
Ooh.
Myself and Robert on Monday reviewed the new Running Man movie. Boy, we curb stopped that thing.
That's sad.
Alexis and you might like it. Alexis and Jesse reviewed Stranger Things season 4. Sunday, the Metal Hammer of Doom jukebox is back. We are no longer playing music for a variety of reasons, but we will be talking about, among other things, Biohazard. Always remember Biohazard. Tales from the Hard Side. Hard Side. A million years old, and that's what I remember from a Pantera concert. Anyway, Biohazard, Divided We Fall. That's the new album. So we'll be doing that Sunday night. Monday, we will be reviewing Wicked for Good. And then I think that's... Oh, no. Alexis is reviewing Has Been Hotel, whatever she's up to, season 2, on Tuesday the 25th. And then the rest of the week is like Thanksgiving stuff. So that's what we got going on there. In 2 weeks, we'll be kicking off December. And the triple feature that myself, Sean, and Shay are doing will be a David Fincher focus. And we'll be looking at The Killer, Seven, and Zodiac.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll send you the schedule, Kat. So
Good movie.
that's what we got going on there. Kat, why don't you tell all the good people where they can find you?
Well, terrible at social media, as we already know. I'm under my government name on Facebook, which is Kathleen Benton Scott. So please don't dox me. On Instagram, I am Kitty Benton. I have a movie on Troma Now, first month free. Each subsequent month, $4.99, and it's called Christmas Chaos. It is a love letter to horror fans, mockumentary fans, Killer Santa fans, so really bad special effects fans. It's for all of us, It's for all of us drive-through mutants out there. All of us connoisseurs of trash. See, I can't talk today. I've been talking like for 2 hours straight. Just like you guys. We are going to be reviewing that December 11th, so that's going to be fun. And yes, send me the schedule. I want to see it.
All right, I will be working on that this week. Sean, you're Sean. We're not.
All right. You can follow me at Twitch and Instagram and Threads at Comer Codex. I will tell you right now, any content I put out right now is kind of on hiatus. I kind of do this every year. I go through about a 4-week kind of temporary wind down period. Kind of through about late November through December. So kind of like about everybody else does. This year though, I'm kind of extending it out to more like about 6 weeks. So I haven't really been online all that much lately, but around January, yeah, good time to follow me there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to our reviews of Striptease, Showgirls, and Hustlers. I'm going to die. Be well, be safe, and behave.